それではこれからの第1部パネルディスカッションの進め方を簡単に説明させていただきます。ここではこちらのパネリスト6名がユヌス先生2つのテーマに分けて質問させていただきます。1つ目のテーマはグラミーソーシャルビジネス世界経済について質問していきます。2つ目のテーマはユヌス先生にしかお聞きできないユヌス先生独自の哲学、価値観、人生観についてお聞きできればと思います。それではトークセッション第1部を早速ですが始めさせていただきます。はじめのテーマはグラミーソーシャルビジネス世界経済についてです。
グラミン銀行のような機関が長期的に成功するためには能力のある個人の参加、つまり投資者の継続的な出資が重要だと思います。ユヌス先生が特に投資者のソーシャルビジネスへの関心を維持させるための特に行っていることとかありますか？
Good morning. I'm very impressed by the arrangements. I don't know what's coming up. But I'm delighted that you organized it in a way that we can have intensive discussion. To respond to your question about what we do in Grameen Bank, we try to make it in a way that people from both sides feel comfortable. The women in the village and the workers within Grameen Bank, the staff of Grameen Bank. So it's more of a kind of a personal relationship. It's not designed in a kind of bureaucratic way, instructions coming from the top and you carry out the instructions. There are instructions, of course, when you run a big organization, but basically it's a relationship between the staff who represents Grameen Bank and the borrowers who are in the village and the women who never been in touch with any institution of any kind. So for them to get in touch with a financial institution, very thought is a scary thought. It almost throws you off that how do I do that? So we try to remove those hesitations and fears and discomforts, make it a very one-on-one kind of relationship. To make it easy, in our training program, we let our staff write the biography of the individual borrower. So did you know the person, not just as a borrower, as a person? So you have to write a case history of where she was born, what she has done, because you have to have a conversation with her and win her confidence so that she starts narrating about her life, her problems. Sometimes she's in tears telling about her past problems. And you become very close to each other because somebody is narrating her own life history. So in the process, your relationship become close. And secondly, you get to know her well because it's not just a person suddenly shows up and asks for a loan and you give her a loan, you don't know anything about her. So it's unlike in a conventional banking system where a borrower is just one part of her or his life comes as a project. You don't know about the person. Here, since our relationship, the whole banking is done on our relationship, we get to know each other very well. So that way, it becomes something more personalized. One of the tests we used to make early on, we don't do it these days anymore, to see how far you understand your borrowers. One of the tests would be if there are 30 trainees, we'll say, we'll give him a piece of paper and say, well, write down the names of your borrowers. So you have to think about the names, all the borrowers that you can remember. Today, number of borrowers on an average per staff is 600. So if you have to write down the name, you are asked to write down the names of 600 borrowers. So you go group by group, center by center, as many as you can remember. Whoever can recollect the maximum number, he or she is the one who did very well, and the next one and the next one. Once we go through that, then we will ask them, okay, you have done this, now the next part. Write down the names of their children. So how closely you know them, and you'll try to recollect how many children she has, what are the names, according to the age of the children, not just random. So this is the way we try to build a relationship and work on it, so that it's not just an official transaction, it's a person. And if you look at our indicators of success of a staff performance, we have 10 indicators. And among them would be the qualitative aspects of our life, and you see how much of this you can achieve. And we have 5-star system that your performance is graded according to how many stars you get. And that stars include whether you have ensured all the children going to school. If all the children are going to school, then you have achieved 1 star. And how many of these families have crossed the poverty line. So these are, again, issues that you bring in. It's not just giving money, taking it back. You also consider other aspects of life. So let me stop here. I'm sure you have a lot of questions.
それではこれに関連して続けて質問のあるパネリストの方はいらっしゃいますか。
グラミン銀行の先ほどの活動は興味深く聞かせてもらいました。でこの問題は一つの問題をはらんでいると思うんですが、その企業として個々人に中立的にみんな等しくサービスを与えてあげなければいけないっていう一方で、グラミン銀行の方はその親身に村人の方と付き合われていると。だからそういう中立的な情報として正確性を伝えるっていう面と、あるいはその親密にそのものを伝えるっていう面では、お互いに全く違うものだと思うんですよね。でそれをどういうふうに企業活動の中で優先しながら、あるいはどちらを重きを置きながら活動をしていかれていますか。
Well, the way we try to position ourselves that right from the beginning and from very early on, when we were only in one village, our basic principle that we adopted and we continued with that, we never questioned that people should not go to the bank. Bank should go to the people. So we always do our banking at the doorstep of the borrowers. So that has removed many of the problems that otherwise could have been created if we had done our business in our office. I always said that office is something which is hostile to poor people. It's not in the interest of the poor people. Because if you ask them to come to office, they feel very insignificant. You are sitting behind a desk and you are powerful, and here she comes, particularly if you are a poor woman coming to an office, she gets very nervous. She cannot even speak out. She is so nervous. So we did the other way. We let the person come to her at her place. At her place, she's comfortable because she has her neighbors, her family, everybody. You are the one who came from outside. You should be the nervous one, not me. So that gives her courage and confidence as much as could. So this is one I think is very important part of Grameen Bank, that the fact that there is no office kind of environment. In an office environment, client is always weaker. The person who is sitting behind the desk is always stronger. So we took away the desk. We took away the kind of sitting behind the desk situation. We bring you as a person. So you can't show off your strength by the office you have and the desk you have. You're just like anybody else. Nobody will recognize you any different because you are in the village. You are by yourself. So that way you have no way of overshadowing the other person. Rather, the other person, because she is in her home, she is more in a advantageous position. So this is one. And then about talking to each other, we always insisted any discussion on matters relating to banking should not be held any other spot except her home. So if you say, I want to take a loan, walking in the road, and the bank staff will always say, okay, let me know where you live, and I'll come to your house tomorrow at such and such time, and we'll discuss. Because his instruction is, you have to be in her house and then discuss whatever it is. So that way, it becomes a real discussion rather than a discussion in an office or someplace else. So these are the things that we wanted to inculcate and make them understand as a person, between two persons, not coming office in between.
ありがとうございました。今話がどちらかというとグラミンの中心に話が進んでいると思うんですけれども、いろいろなことについてご質問したいので、そろそろソーシャルビジネスですね。ユヌス先生が今一番力を入れていらっしゃると聞いています。ソーシャルビジネスについて質問がある方はパネリストの方でいらっしゃいますか。
ユヌス先生の活動によってソーシャルビジネスは大きな広がりを見せています。ユヌス先生が定義される投資したものが循環し、そして配当はなく社会問題を解決、その配当を社会問題に解決するというソーシャルビジネスにも私は適用できない分野があると思うのですが、それについていかがですか？
It's possible that some are not immediately addressable by a business format, immediately not applicable, but that doesn't give away the possibilities of it. So you have to be specific. First of all, I come from the position that nothing in the world is impossible. It's much easier that way. So you keep on trying things. If you say, this cannot be done as a social business, you are almost giving a verdict that it's impossible. I'm saying, no, to you may be impossible. There may be somebody else who can figure out how to convert this into a social business. So there are many things that you can come up. First of all, there are 1,001 problems around us. So instead of worrying, some of them may not be immediately put into a social business format and worry about it. Forget about it. Don't worry about those things. Get on with the things which are already there and you see that can be done. Let's do the things which are already available, it's possible, very simple, 1, 2, 3. Let's go on with it. In the process, we learn a lot. And initially, which looked impossible, then you see 3 of them, 4 of them now looks possible. So you go on to those 3 and 4. And still there are 110, which you thought impossible. Gradually, somebody say, hey, now we can do it this way. The ideas will come. Human being has unlimited creativity. We have to believe in that. So this is not something, a human being, somewhere you draw the line, you cannot go beyond that. I don't want to draw the line because whatever we have explored about human being so far is almost like scratching the surface. We have not yet gone into the real creativity of human beings because we have not allowed human beings to bring out their creativity. So that way, I would say this is something I should not dismiss. Somebody was asking the other day about the suicides in Japan. I was told that there are 30,000 people commit suicide in Japan every year. 30,000. It's an unbelievable number because when you work it out, it's 100 suicides per day. It's how it happens in a country like Japan you cannot figure it out. So the question I was asked, can we create a social business to help people stay away from suicide, protect them, save their own lives? My immediate answer was yes, it can be done. I don't know how it can be done, but I know it can be done. Then we went into a discussion, so how it can be done. There are different ways it can be done. I said, first I have to know what are the causes of this suicide. Once I know the cause, for each cause, you can create a social business. If it is because I lost my job, so I commit suicide, then it has a very simple solution as a social business. Or I had some problem with my colleagues, or I have problems someplace, and I committed suicide because of that. So we have to know what was the problem, how does it problem. There are some common causes. So for each cause, you start designing a social business. And I said, nothing to be scared about that. If I could save one life by creating a social business, it's worth undertaking. Because if I've known how to save one life, I found a way. If I repeat, I could save another life. And if I repeat, I could save another life. This is how it goes. In the meantime, I understand this much better than before, how to do that. I become more efficient in doing that. So again, this is a completely new idea, a new problem, which I never thought about it. But my immediate response was, it can be done. If I give this problem to the whole people who are around here, design a social business to save people from suicide, there will be 500 plans. Out of these 500, I'm sure 5 of them were excellent plans. We can start with that. We could put our mind into it, it will come. So this is how I would not give up on any one of them. So I'll just keep it on waiting and keep our brains working, how to find a way. In the meantime, whichever is easy to do, I'll go ahead and do that. Thank you.
もしソーシャルビジネスで例えば今の段階でできない分野があるとすれば、先生は援助よりもソーシャルビジネスをと進められていますけども、その部分では援助で対応する必要性、援助の価値というものはあるのではないでしょうか。
I don't know what you mean by assistance. The discussions, open dialogue, it's possible. But what I was suggesting that things that doesn't seem like it could be subjected to a social business immediately, I'll hold it for a while. I will go ahead with something I can do right away. I know the simple steps that I can do, rather than get stuck with one and forget about the others. So my priority will be do the ones that you can do right away. While you're doing it, your ideas will develop. Many experiences will happen. Then the one that you left out or kept it in the waiting can come back and do that. And also I should mention that even the simplest solution of a social business for a problem, when you do for the first time, it will never be the perfect one. It will be just the right, just a kind of a rough design of a very crude design of a first problem. And then as you go on repeating it, it will be improved and improved. And I give the example of first automobile. When the automobile was first was invented or designed, it was not the kind that we do it here. It's not the Toyota, it's just not the Porsche, or it's not the BMW. It was just a horse buggy. A horse buggy where the horses were removed and engine was put in place of a horse. So the engine was driving this buggy. It was the same buggy that horse used to carry. But gradually we improved the wheels, we improved everything, and shock absorbers and everything so that it's comfortable. But removing the horse and putting the engine was the most important thing. The rest can follow. So the first one is not the one that finally that you will end up with. In the meantime, many versions will happen, and it will become more efficient, more smooth, more effective, and so on and so forth, more cost effective as you go along. So we have to go through many editions, many versions of it. So choose the one which can go right away and gradually gather experience, improve those, and in the meantime, keep on working on the one you initially thought cannot be done, but gradually you'll find a way to do that.
ありがとうございました。ソーシャルビジネスをできる分野、できない分野で分けるべきではなく、できるように、できることをまず考えることという話でしたが、ソーシャルビジネスでこういうのができるのではないか、バングラデシュではこういうことはしないのかということについて質問のあるパネリストの方はいらっしゃいますか。
私がバングラで、ぜひユヌス先生にやっていただきたいと思っている分野がありまして、それは学校なんですが、奨学金を出したりっていうことはされてると思うんですが、もうしっかりと小中高というように、もしグラミンのグループがプライベートスクールといった形で、学校を作ったならば、プライベートスクールというのは普通だと、授業料がすごく高くなると思うんですが、ソーシャルビジネスで行う場合、それは生徒からお金を取ることはできませんよね。で、学校教育というものはその利益を生むということはできないと思うのですが、そうなると投資ばかりで資金が循環しないことになります。その点について、学校の創立の可能性を教えていただきたいと思います。
My answer, as I said, always yes. I don't give up on any possibility. So your first attempt may not be the right one, but we'll get around and do that. When we are talking about creating nursing college in Bangladesh, because Bangladesh has a severe shortage of nurses. So we, from Grameen Healthcare, we came up with the idea, why don't we create nursing college and produce nurses? And then everybody said, well, nursing college would be very expensive and you cannot run it as a social business. I said, why not? Let's give it a try. So we are in the trying phase and we had an idea how to do that. And we calculated, and it will be quite expensive for a student to cover all the cost by the tuition fee. And particularly for poor families within Grameen Bank, from where we want to bring the young girls to register as a student in this nursing college. They cannot pay. I said, okay, we'll pay the full tuition. We'll charge the full tuition to all these girls who will register so that we can cover all the cost of this nursing college. Then we give from Grameen Bank education loans so that she doesn't have to pay anything. It's the bank which will pay the tuition and maintenance and everything. And with that tuition, nursing college will cover all the cost. And how is she going to pay back? If tuition is high, she has to pay back. Then we came up with another aspect. We offered them guaranteed job. As soon as you finish your education, the day you finish it, on the same day you get your job. So that way income is not a kind of uncertain, subject to your availability of job or anything. Now we are from another organization like Grameen Healthcare, we are giving them jobs. And then how much salary she gets. So we calculated, we said we'll give you this much salary. We said 15,000 taka, which is pretty high salary. It's the same salary a doctor will get. So the graduate nurse and a graduate doctor will start at the same position. So we tell them that of this 15,000, you'll pay 1/3 of your salary as a repayment to the loan. And 2/3 of the salary, which is 10,000, you take home. And they are very happy about that because getting a 10,000 salary as such is a good salary. On top of it, they are getting 15,000. So they say it's a good deal. So we resolved it within our system. At least this is the first cut. As I said, as we go along, we'll learn much more and we'll make it more efficient as we go along. But we solved the problem of education. This is nursing education. We can repeat this in another kind of education and so on. And we are telling them, look, there is international jobs waiting for you, for the nurses. There are lots of international jobs as a nurse because there's a big shortage of nurses in a global way. So he said, we'll also help you to find international jobs so that you can go and get them. And you can repay our loan very quickly from Grameen Bank because you'll get at least 5 times as much salary as you will get in Bangladesh. So that way you can pay back the loan much, much earlier than we did. So this is one way as an example. In another case, we'll find another way to resolve it.
ありがとうございます。これに関連した質問があるパネリストの方はいらっしゃいます。
教育の話が出たということでお聞きしたいんですけれども、まずは、日本の隣には中国、バングラディッシュの隣には、インドっていう、これから急成長すると言われている、国があって、中国とインドっていうのは、IT 人材でいうと毎年中国が40万人、インドが20万人以上 IT 人材を輩出すると言われていて、日本は2万人なんですが、そういった中で日本であったりバングラディッシュは、何を強みとして、やっていくべきでしょうか。
Again, this is a very big issue in Bangladesh, and my position is very clear. And you said India is our neighbor. China is our neighbor too. We are very close to China. So one of my position that I talk about, that we are lucky that we are flanked by two economic giants. When you are flanked by two economic giants, the wind from those two giants will also blow you up because activities that goes on both sides, you benefit from that tremendously. Many of the jobs, many of the opportunities, business opportunities come to you because you have two giants next to each other and you're right in the middle of it. So we are not, we should not be worrying about having giants. We should be celebrating that we have two giants around us. This is number one, and it will create lots of opportunities for us. Another opportunity comes, I see is very clearly coming up. Bangladeshis who want to work outside the country. The lots of migrant workers in the Middle East and many other countries go out, and they send remittances. And this is a good opportunity for village people to go out and work. China, with the huge population, they are soon be running into labor shortage because of one-child policy. When this present generation will be retiring, they will not have enough young people to replace them because of one-child policy. So to sustain this huge economy, they will have to bring in people from outside. There's no option. And Bangladesh has a huge reservoir of people. So we will be the first one to raise our hands. We are here. And I said, we'll soon have to build big airports because the planes that will take millions of these Bangladeshis into China to work is a good opportunity because you not only earn money, you also get some skill which will be useful when you come back. So these are opportunities that we see. IT-wise, again, you mentioned IT. Bangladesh becomes a beneficiary because IT is coming to India. Indian salaries are going up because of the demand that IT is putting into it. As a result, some of these jobs are coming to Bangladesh. Bangladesh IT salary is still low compared to India. So we are getting the benefit. What India did in terms of IT jobs coming to India from USA, exactly same thing is happening between India and Bangladesh. The jobs which are becoming expensive to do it in India is coming to Bangladesh. So Bangladesh will pick up this trade very quickly. This is one opportunity again. Many of these businesses which will happen, like for example in Bangladeshi major export right now is garments, the shirts and the pants and the apparels, all kinds of things. When the financial crisis came, Bangladesh, like all other countries, became worried that now our economy will start shrinking, it will collapse. But it didn't happen. Bangladesh was not as much affected as we were worried about. First of all, Bangladesh economy is not as export-oriented as many other countries. So only the export sector was affected, the garment sector. And Bangladeshi garments were on the lower end of the market, cheaper goods. Cheaper shirts, cheaper pants. That market was not affected. It's the higher end market was affected because when people start earning less, they were buying the less expensive things. So we are the one who are producing less expensive things. So our market was not affected. And still some negative effect came. But in the meantime, since Chinese wage is going up, many of the garment industries were relocating from China to Bangladesh and Vietnam. So again, we had opportunity. Here, instead of shrinking, we have a good opportunity to bringing in, relocating industries into Bangladesh. So I would say having bigger economies next to each other and be placed very conveniently, it is an advantage. One issue that I raised, that we should have a much bigger seaport. Today our seaport is very small seaport. It can take care of only Bangladeshi merchandise. I said, no, taking care of Bangladeshi merchandise will not be enough, because we are strategically located. We can, from our seaport, we can send goods from India, because they have no good seaports around them in this region. So all their goods will pass through Bangladesh. So we have to build a huge big seaport to handle that. Chinese goods will come through the Bangladeshi port, because we are very close to Kunming. So if you have a Kunming and connected there, they are already requesting the use of Bangladeshi seaport for their exports and imports. So we said we have a great opportunity. We become the kind of in the crossroad of the whole region. And Nepalese good. Nepal doesn't have an ocean. It's a landlocked country. So they have to send their goods through Bangladesh. Bhutan doesn't have a sea access. Their access is through Bangladesh. India, Eastern India doesn't have access. Their access is through Bangladesh. And China, Eastern China doesn't have access. So their access through Bangladesh. So that way, I see having the growing economy on both sides, it's a tremendous benefit to Bangladesh.
最後に一つだけこれだけは聞きたいという方がいらっしゃいましたら、パネリストの方挙手をお願いいたします。
ソーシャルビジネスをするにおいてですね、各国の市場を生かした方法とかいろんな事業っていうのを考えることができると思うんですけど、例えば日本においてはマニファクチャーとかサービス業っていうのが強いと思うんですけど、ソーシャルビジネスをするにおいて第一産業第二産業、第一産業にそれの産業において、ソーシャルビジネスをやりやすい分野だったりとか、特徴というか産業としてソーシャルビジネスをするにおいて有利不利とかはあったりするんでしょうか。
You can do all levels of social business, which is dealing with very primary production. Agriculture could be a very effective social business, because in the context of global food crisis, we have to pay a lot of attention to primary production of agricultural products. So there we can create a lot of social businesses to enhance the productivity, making sure our soil doesn't lose fertility, because sometimes in a commercial way of operating, you destroy the soil in order to raise the productivity. Once you have done it, very soon you have exhausted the soil and it doesn't produce anything. So that's a destructive policy. In a social business, you don't take destructive policy. You want to make maintain the balance of the soil, balance of the environment, and so on. So that could be a very, very important social business, agriculture related. Forestry could be a good social business. Now what is happening in many of our countries, forests are chopped off. It's barren lands are coming up because greedy people coming and cutting the trees. Indonesia is a good case where beautiful forests are destroyed completely for logging purposes. We don't have to do it this way. We can create forests, maintain forests, at the same time make good earning. Sometimes businesses get so greedy, they don't think about the future. They just want to make money right now. So they are so impatient to make money. So they just cut off the trees and go away, do someplace else. They burn for forests to make roads for themselves or something like that. So you have all these problems already in Indonesia and other places. So that could be another social business. Very high-tech thing could be a good social business. Yesterday I was talking about the addressing illiteracy by creating kind of iPhone type gadget where it will be screen, touch screen with the icons. You don't have to know anything, just touching it. You start learning things. You start learning how to read, how to write. It's all question of designing. It's an interesting game, interesting play, but you learn things. It is such a powerful thing, one tiny little phone. Imagine how much it can be used for an illiterate old woman who is afraid to touch any of these gadgets. But once you start touching it, seeing the reaction, she gets fond of it. So you can have the whole family together. The children are playing with it, mother is playing with it, grandmother is playing with it, and all of them learning everything together, which is a fun thing, playing games, learning words, getting into the dictionaries, learning other things, getting into the history, learning about history, and learning languages. That can also become a language. When little kids go to school, he or she may not know a word of Japanese coming from another country. So when they go to school, in 3 months, the child is speaking beautiful Japanese because all the kids are speaking Japanese, so he's speaking Japanese too. Nobody taught him. He didn't read any book. Just by talking to each other, I said, why don't we create that school environment, all the kids in this iPod or in this iPhone, so that the kids start learning the language right here. You don't have to go to school. Or grandmother start learning the language right here with this. So this is very high tech, but brought to as a social business. You are addressing illiteracy, you are addressing learning languages, you are addressing learning about the world, about healthcare. Your healthcare can be health awareness can be brought into this tiny little thing. So many such things can happen in a very high-tech thing. So from absolutely the high-tech to all the way to the primary production. Everything can be done within a social business. So there is no level in which you have to stop. You can address all sides or everything in it.